well, so far my fingers. Can you see? That's where I don't feel the puppies biting me. But anyway, I'm knitting my sock, and perhaps you can sort of get an idea of how I'm actually moving my needles, but probably not. There's close-up and there's close-up. And this perhaps is too close. But I'm knitting a sock, as you can see. Possibly a little bit too close. Let's see if I can... Whoops, wrong way. Go back a little bit. Is that maybe better? Yes, that might be better. So, and you see I'm tensioning the yarn. This is the yarn, and I bring my hand up like that, wrap round the two fingers, under the next one, and over the index finger, and that is what I use to do this with. I'm using one circular needle, and you see there's the other bit, the holding bit. These are ChiaoGoo needles, which I find the best on the market, and I've used all of them: Knit Picks, Addi, Prim, Onyx, and these are just superb. The cable's superb, the needle itself is superb, the join is superb. It's absolutely no trouble moving the stitches, live stitches, from one to the other. You know, when you finish the end of the row and you need to tug them all up onto the next needle. Why is it that whenever you're showing somebody what you're doing, it sort of starts going wrong? But anyhow, there we are. And really, this is not what I intended my video to be about, me knitting. And I'm going to continue talking about my favourite subject, myself. And not really, it's just I need to pass on some stuff that I've learned, and I need somehow to heighten this video so that you can see my face. Because if I'm going to be talking to you, you want to be able to see it, don't you? Nope. That's still not high enough, I don't believe it. Still not high enough at all. I wonder if this will make it high enough. Nope. Oh, hang on. Silly man. I need to go way back. And now you can just about see me. Well, if you read my blog, you'll know that I've had a little bit of difficulty recently handling my disease. I collapsed yesterday at the pool, which really pissed me off, to say the least. I came over all peculiar and with terrible jelly legs and trembling all over and as white as a sheet and sweating like anything. I had a low blood sugar attack, a hypo. No, I'm not diabetes, have diabetes. I have the complete opposite problem, hyperglycemia, which means I produce too much insulin, and so in response to sugar. And so what happens is that my blood sugar level drops way below normal, and this is what happened while I was exercising yesterday. And I went to my changing room. I have my own little room, and I sat there until it passed. It was awful because I felt very faint, and at one point I thought, oh, should I push the emergency or pull the emergency cord? I didn't, because I was worried that they would call an ambulance or something. And as it turns out, it's just as well I didn't, because pretty soon there was a knock on the door asking if I was all right, which I was really impressed by, because obviously Simon, one of the lifeguards, had noticed that I'd been in my changing room longer than I normally am, so he called for help, someone to come and see if I was okay. And it was her that said when I opened the door I was as white as a sheet, and she was a bit worried about me. And the whole point is, what they would have done was given me Lucozade, which seems to be the natural thing to do for somebody with low blood sugar. But actually no, not for me it wouldn't have been. What it would have done was made the situation worse. So anyway, it all went. And then I saw somebody at a very advanced stage of my disease who is completely confined to a wheelchair, unable to move even her neck and only her eyes. And that upset me, to say the least. But then I have to remind myself that I also know somebody of 75 with the same disease who's still moving, still walking around, obviously with difficulty. And actually they're really stubborn sod, and they won't use a wheelchair or walking sticks. Now there's stubbornness and stubbornness. There's some sort of stubbornness that has a detrimental effect on your life, and I believe that's the case with that person, because they don't do anything. Whereas I do not intend being stopped. And I will continue to do what I want to do for as long as I possibly can. The strength, if you call it strength, comes from fear, really. I don't want to be totally incapacitated. I don't want to be able to not look after my dogs and therefore not have them. I don't want to not be able to knit. I do not want to be able to type. To not be able to type. Well, I can't really. And I was thinking today that I really must get back into the habit of using my voice recognition, because my typing is absolutely appalling. And I don't bother correcting it because I figure, well, most people will know what it is I'm trying to say. I'm having a completely relaxing day today. I've taken some muscle relaxants on top of my painkillers, and it does seem to have worked. I'm listening to music and knitting, and now talking to you. But all of us have a choice. We really do. In how we think, because it's how we think that determines what our life really is going to be like, and how we experience life. You know, I could sit here and think, oh, poor me, look what's happened. You know, after I've had such a hard life, and now look. But I couldn't do that, because I'm just so grateful that my life isn't what it used to be. And I gladly accept what's wrong with me now, because it is so much more preferable to what my life used to be like. It's much less painful. You know, my brain, my psyche, you know, I'm not in agony anymore. Physical pain is much easier to deal with. One, you can take pills for it, which helps. And by the way, it does only help. It doesn't take it away. You know, as I take large doses of painkillers, and I'm up to 80 milligrams of morphine a day now. And yet even that doesn't deal with the hips. I've had to take large doses of aspirin to get the inflammation down, which has worked, but I can only do that for a few days because of the risk to my health. You know, I have coronary heart disease, and high doses of anti-inflammatories are not good. In fact, some anti-inflammatories are not good at all. And I've run out of battery. I'm going to have to, oh dear, find plug before this cuts out. Oops, here it is, I found it. Excuse me. Well, sorry about that. That was a bit of a mess. And I'm now having to hold this because the electric wire's tangled. But at least I have power again, and I wasn't about to go dead on you. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that attitude is absolutely everything. I am ill. What is wrong with me was probably caused by the experiences I had growing up. Certainly the neurological problems, my doctor thinks was more to do with how many times I got hit on my head than anything else. And the inflammation problems are very common to people who lived in their young lives in a highly stressed situation which was never relieved, and possibly the disintegration of my spine too. It's all connected, but as far as I'm concerned, my physical problems are a doddle compared to that crap. I don't have any of that crap anymore. I know I'm a lovely person today. I know I'm a good person today. And I know that it was those people that were in the wrong, not me. There was something wrong with them. There wasn't anything wrong with me. And today I know that. And therefore I am free. I'm free of the shame. I'm free of the fear. And I'm free to be me. And I'm quite amazed at who me is. The fact that I have the nerve to dress the way I do to go to dog shows. I have to say that's been playing on my mind a bit recently. I'm becoming increasingly more nervous because the dog show scene is about to start. And I haven't been to one for quite some time. And I've got out of the habit of steeling myself for them. You see, if you see me at the dog shows and you see the way I dress, you know, quite eccentrically, and it stands out and I'm easily noticed, and I'm with crowds of people, and you'd quite rightly think, well, he's an eccentric, an extrovert is what I meant to say, eccentric, okay, but an extrovert. And you know, I'm not. I'm actually a shy person. And a dog show just wipes me out. The effort of putting on that persona for the dog shows is enormous. But I'm very pleased with myself that I can do it. But I do love time on my own. I love having visitors, like my friend Sarah recently, and my friend Gail. And my friend Marilyn. I love their company, you know, but they know me well and they know I can't take it for too long. And the reason I can't take it for too long is because of my physical problems. It requires a great deal of concentration to have company, you know, to want to share with them and talk with them and make coffees. It drains me, and it drains me very quickly. And that I do feel sad about because, you know, I love these people, and I'd like to see more of them, but I can't. But who knew, until I sorted myself out, that I wasn't what I've been taught to believe at all. I was classed as an extrovert when I used to have manic episodes. That's not quite the same thing, you know, folks. Not quite the same thing at all. And in fact, I remember once somebody who knew me only in a manic phase, and they were a professional in the psychiatric field, but I knew them socially, had absolutely no idea there was anything wrong with me at all. Until one day they saw me not in the manic phase. And they wondered what the fuck had happened. And I explained. And they said, oh, I would never have guessed. See, because not all mania is psychotic. I don't have any of that anymore because I don't have the pain that was fueling it anymore. It's all gone. I haven't had a manic phase for years. I haven't even felt like having a manic phase. I have to say I do miss them. Because with a manic phase, I mean, you just feel like Superman. You have loads of energy, you don't need to sleep, you don't need to eat, and you get lots accomplished. There are downsides. You also spend money like water, and you get fanciful ideas. You know, you suddenly are convinced that you found the way to cure the world of its problems, or that, you know, some harebrained scheme is going to earn you millions of pounds. I once went out, John once went to work, and we had a couple of dogs, and when he came home we also had 9 Persian cats. And I have absolutely no idea how I came about those. That was all a long time ago. I'm not that person. And now that I'm well, I discover that actually I'm a quiet person and a shy person who loves his own company. But I do love people, and I value my relationships a great deal. Really a great deal. But as I said, the dog show scene is coming up, and I know that I have to steel myself for that, you know, and put my act together again. And sometimes I think, have I got the strength to do this? But at other times I'm really excited about it. You know, I love to dress up. I really do. I enjoy my clothes. It's such a thrill to find out I am who I am. It's wonderful. And although, you know, what happened to me in the past was not meant to happen, not at all, and I really resent these dickheads that say, oh, it was meant to be, I think, are you stupid? You know, are you really saying that the adults who sexually abused me, who raped me, who molested me, who beated me, were doing God's will? It was all meant to be? Fuck off, get a brain. Idiotic fools. Or that it was punishment from a previous life, which means exactly the same thing as I've just said. You know, if it's karma, then the people who did that to me were following God's rule for some greater good. Fuck off. What a stupid, twatty thing to think. You know, it's just another way of blaming the victim. But I shall remain light with this message, I think, and not go into that. We all know twats exist. And in the English dictionary, twat means idiot, before you get your knickers in a twist about this. Oh, do you know, sometimes I get really annoyed at having to justify what I bloody say with people who so easily take offence. And you know, they take offence, I don't give it. You take it. You know, if you don't know me by now, you never will. Anyway, if you've listened to this rambling, good for you. I hope you got something out of it. So, have a good rest of your day. Bye. And you're going to have to excuse the fact I didn't shave. This was quite an impromptu decision. But, oh God, I can't find my knob. Oh, there it is. Bye.